Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to talk to you about my experience switching from the iPhone 7 to the Galaxy Note 8 and share with you the parts that I think are a little problematic, because there are actually very few things that are problematic, but those issues are rather large at the moment, in my opinion. And I think that if you're coming from an iOS device, you might second guess your decision if you were considering switching to this phone. So let's just get right into it. I think that this phone is fantastic overall, but there are some shortcomings, and I believe that those shortcomings aren't actually inherent to the phone, but they're more associated with the network the phone is on. I come from the Verizon network in America, and on these networks there is something known as a carrier limit, and Verizon has what is known as a 1 megabyte carrier limit for text messages and SMS messages. And a lot of the features that this phone touts exceed that 1 megabyte limit on a regular basis. So I'm sure you guys have seen in that commercial the really cool and fun live message feature where you can take out the S Pen stylus and you can open up the little like selection wheel. Let me get that in focus for you guys. And then bring up this strange palette here that you can kind of work on. But you see at the top there's like that gray bar going up. That's like indicative of the file size limit, more or less, and how much it's allowing you to create. And when it's filled, it's very large. And if you try and just share this through a text message to one of your friends, they're not getting it. They're only going to get it if they have a third-party messaging app installed on the phone, like Hangouts or Allo. If you're using Samsung's stock messaging app, it won't send because it exceeds the file size limit or carrier limit that Verizon has. So you got to know that. You're not going to be able to use these files that are advertised, or these features that are advertised, I'm sorry. And I noticed the same thing with the animated GIF maker. That's another thing that comes up on this wheel. If you go up to what's called Smart Select in the top right, there's that little feature, and you hit that and it'll pull up like a little box, and you can record the file. But these are fairly large files, even if you put it under standard, which I do to try and save a little bit. So if you hit the record button, all right, you're at half a megabyte after about 6 seconds. So when I try and send these files, if it's a GIF, for example, to somebody, you very quickly go over that limit as well, and you won't be able to send that to anybody unless you upload it to Imgur, and then you copy and paste that link and then share it to them that way. It's more steps than you'd want it to be. You want it to be more seamless. You want to be able to quickly react, right? I mean, that's kind of what the whole point of a GIF is. It's like a different way to express yourself, and it seems like everybody uses them. So it's kind of fun, but I think that's something you should know. But those are like the fun, silly things that really aren't that important to day-to-day use. The biggest problem that I've noticed on this phone is still related to all that stuff in messaging, but it has to do with actual text messages. When I receive messages from people, if they're sending me a lot of messages, I get them chopped up and out of order, and I literally have to decipher them while I'm reading them. I have to read through a vertical like thread of messages and piece together the proper grammar, because it just chops them up through the carrier's network. It's awful, and it is the worst thing about this phone that I've experienced. I contacted Verizon. I went into the settings on this phone, and I went under the date and time. There was a thought that maybe it had to do with how the messages were being picked up by the network and then sent out. And I turned that on. I mean, I think that's it, right? Automatic date and time. That didn't do anything. That didn't change it at all. So I got too tired of it. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle getting so many disjointed messages from people. So I switched back to my iPhone, and I think those are the biggest issues. Another minor issue, but still one nonetheless, is the fact that when you're driving in your car, you can't activate the Google Assistant and play the songs you want to play on it. For whatever reason, it doesn't go through the list of songs that you have stored on your device, and it prompts you to subscribe to the Google Play Music messaging service. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This happens every single time I try and play a song by dictating it. Play Elastic Heart. Oh no. Play Elastic Heart.
That song's only available for Google Play Music subscribers. But try this Google Play Music Elastic Heart station.
So that happens every time. And then I tried to see if Bixby would do it, because Bixby is this awesome assistant that was built in. This song came up because I tried playing it manually before. It wasn't from the voice assistant. I tried doing it through Bixby, and Bixby didn't work either, but I'll try again. Play Elastic Heart.
Uh-oh.
Play Elastic Heart. So she searches, and it's
Looks
even
like
there
this service is
at the top of the screen, and then you just get this prompt. So it's totally useless. You won't be able to use your voice commands to play songs yet. That can be fixed with a software update, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Now, if I use this phone and I say, "Hey Siri, play Elastic Heart."
Okay, playing Elastic Heart by Sia.
Look, Siri's no powerhouse in terms of a voice assistant. She's not Google. She's not powered by Google. Not Google Assistant, not Bixby and Google combined, but Siri's able to do very simple things very effectively. I never have issues with it. I have issues with this, and it's pretty frustrating. And I think that, again, most of this can be adjusted with software updates, but as of right now, you need to know that, because that is a very useful feature that you will actually not be able to use on this phone. Now, if you can look past that stuff, if you don't text people often, if you don't mind having to decipher the order of messages if someone sends you something long, if you don't send videos to people over text message, if you use a third-party chat app as an alternative, I would say that you should get this phone, because it's incredible. I use this stylus all the time. I think it's built very well. It's a little heavy, but other than that, I think it's an amazing phone. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think that they hit every point. The only physical complaint I have about the phone is that it's a little tall, but that's for the aspect ratio. I think the major thing here maybe would be the Bixby button that's below this volume rocker here. I'm just trying to get that into focus for you right here. There it is. It's kind of useless. Why not just make a audio command to activate Bixby, just like you say, "Okay Google," and you turn it on? Why can't you just do that? And then you'll have just the volume rocker and the power button like most other phones. And you won't actually have an issue accidentally hitting it when you're watching something in landscape mode. That's something that has happened to me a few times, but that's getting very nitpicky about it. I think overall it's an incredible phone. The battery life is amazing. It gets you through a whole day, and there are so many positive things I could talk about it, and that's a whole separate video. I want to talk about the major issues I've had with it, and let people know that might be switching from this iOS ecosystem to Android ecosystem, things that you might take for granted. If you text a lot, I would not recommend switching. If that's your primary way of communicating to people, it's just better on this. One of the awesome features that this phone has that I haven't seen on any other phone is the web browsing ad blocker, and not the ad blocker itself, because those are everywhere, but the extent to which this thing ad blocks is so awesome. You don't have any social media share buttons like that Twitter, Mail, WhatsApp, bubble stickers thing at the bottom above this. That's all gone. You block all of that, and the page itself just has nothing but the content that you want. So you save data and you get an awesome web browsing experience. I love going through web pages on this phone, and when you pair it up with the stylus, oh man, it's so sweet. There's just nothing getting in the way of just absorbing the information that you're reading. So that's a great feature, and there are many, many more, but that's not what this video is about. It was just about some of the main gripes that I haven't seen anybody talk about in any other videos, so I decided, that I would just throw one out myself. Overall, you're gonna be happy with these devices, either one. I would say that if most people around you have an iPhone, you should go that route. But if you're a rebel or you can convince your friends to get a third-party messaging app, which none of my iPhone users would do when I told them I switched this phone. They said, screw you, dude. I'm not downloading anything. I'm already able to talk to everybody else this way, and I'm going to keep it that way. Why do I have to have a separate messaging app just for you? You're not, you're not special. So, I mean, if you don't do that, get this bad boy. It's sweet. All right. I hope that helped you guys out, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.